Hey everyone, DeathFromAbove here, welcome back to the channel. And yeah, you might have seen it a couple of weeks ago, Slai posted a video on IFHE Plus, the ships that could actually benefit from IFHE Plus, and I was actually already working on that as well. That was part of the plan, and so what we're going to do today is actually I'm going to change my plans a little bit, because you see that, yeah, that's kind of the list I was planning to test. I was planning to test with Des Moines Zao, the Black Shimanto and the Thunderer, and I'm adding a surprise ship at the end for that as well. So essentially I chose these nations and ships because they all have an IFHE Plus commander, whether it's Nelson, Kincaid or Togo, and so yeah, let's see if it actually has any effect. So you know how we do things. We walk into a training room, we invite our good friend Zelensky, we put ourselves 10 kilometers away from the target, and we actually start shooting at each other. I'm not going to show you the whole thing, I'm only going to show you the results, and I will start with Des Moines versus the Yamato, just to have an idea. Yamato, it's my own Yamato, so it's in full battle configuration, etc. So yeah, it's kind of the ship that you can expect to be meeting in the game. And so without further ado, let's get started. So we're putting the two ships at 10 kilometers from each other. I'm starting with the Yamato because I'm just curious if that thing can actually have an effect on the Yamato. And yeah, spoiler alert, it did not have any effect. Des Moines stock managed to deal 288 damage per shell, and with IFHE Plus a little bit less, 286. So yeah, no effect on target. So let's change the target then. And so we reinvite our good friend Zelensky, and what has he chosen to test this time? He has chosen the Yoshino heavy cruiser, which has light cruiser armor. So yeah, if IFHE has any effect, it's probably going to be against that ship, because it will not have any effect on battleships with gun calibers of this size. Or does it? Let's take a look at it. And here we are, 10 kilometers again, and spoiler alert, no effect on target. So yeah, the average damage climbs to 426 with stock and only 421 with IFHE Plus. So again, it doesn't make any difference. You will simply penning the Yoshino a little bit more, but the skill has no effect at all. And the next candidate is the Zao with the space camo that makes it look like, yeah, I'm not sure what it actually looks like. I have something in mind, but I'm going to shut up. And so yeah, we bring back the Yoshino. There is no point in testing those ships and that kind of shell caliber against Yamato. And yeah, the Zao, it did a little bit. IFHE Plus did a little bit better than Des Moines, with a bit less than 400 damage average per shell with the stock Zao, and with IFHE Plus 410, so a 3% increase. That's still not a lot, to be honest, for a ship that is supposed to increase the penetration by 20%. So yeah, it's probably not super useful on the Japanese heavy cruisers as well. So what about if we actually brought something that has a little bit of a bigger caliber? And yeah, I picked the Thunderer for the next one, because if you have watched my videos with this one, you know that it can actually citadel Yamato pretty consistently with HE shell. So yeah, this one does not have any penetration issue with HE. Yeah, let's see what actually happens, and let's go to the results. And so indeed, the Thunderer is capable of penning the Yamato with HE, because we're scoring a lot more than half pence, and the shield damage is at 1600, stock close to 1000, IFHE Plus a little bit above 1000, still a really minor increase of only 2%. At this point I'm really starting to doubt myself, and yeah, let us bring another target to try something new. And surprise, surprise, what did I bring with me this time? I didn't pick a Yoshino because you're obviously going to completely trash it with your HE no matter what. I did to test against an Iowa, which is something that you will be seeing a lot with a Thunderer, and this is where the magic is starting to happen for IFHE Plus. And yeah, the average damage goes from 986, identical as when I tested versus the Yamato, to 1090, a whopping 10% increase. Pretty good. IFHE plus on the Thunderer. I'm starting to feel good with all the gold I put to level Nelson to get it and use on my Thunderer. Yeah, so there you go. Slai was right on this one. What about the other ones? And the next one I was actually planning to test the Takao, but yeah, I'm not going to do it because yeah, we've seen with the Zao that it's not really worth it on that kind of shells, but I noticed while playing the Black Shimanto that I was getting quite a lot of citadels with HE, and I decided to test it against a contemporary ship, the Prince Eugen, a target you will be meeting quite often, and yeah, actually it went pretty well. The average damage going from 232 to 250, a 7% increase, so indeed actually pretty useful on the Japanese light cruiser lines, because those have an absolutely dreadful AP. It's really only good against destroyers. Yeah, and even so, yeah. So there you go, Yodo line, check. And yep, the next one is the Goliath, a ship I was not planning to test originally. I was not planning to focus on these, but yeah, since Slai tested them or actually said that yeah, IFHE does have an effect on these, why not double check in a training room? And yep, let's take a look at the results. So we are bringing back our good old test mate for cruisers, the Yoshino, and immediately we notice a 3.5% increase with IFHE plus for the Goliath. Whether it's actually worth it is something we could actually check against APCS and APCS plus. Let's take a look at that. Here we are testing Goliath with AP and APCS+, and yeah, the results are actually pretty decent. 565 stock AP and a 7% increase with APCS+. So there's a bigger increase in damage there. And in the grand scheme of things, your damage per shell with APCS+, it's still 20% higher than with IFHE+. So yeah, that's already probably giving us an indication there, but yeah. There you go. I'm not sure Slai was correct on this one. Let's discuss a little bit further. Because ultimately it's a rich man's problem, and the choice you will make will depend on the commanders you have available. Yes, you can put Tovi or BT on your British heavy cruiser, but typically you would have BT on the Minotaur and Tovi on the St. Vincent, so yeah. I'm not really sure it's really a choice. Yeah, and the same goes for all the other lines that do not have an IFHE. I'm going to get there. IFHE plus commander. I'm not sure the Russians have one, to be honest, but in any case, I mean, almost all of the Russian ships are really strong AP, at least at the higher tiers. So yeah, you're probably better off using an APCS skin on this one, including on the Smolensk. I would never set up a commander only for the Smolensk. I'm not rich enough for that. So yeah, my Smolensk will keep using the same commander as my other Russian cruisers, and that's going to mean APCS. If we look at the Americans, I'm not sure that there's actually a ship that would benefit from from IFHE+, because yeah, the light cruisers, they have a very good AP. It's one of the hidden gems of this game, and their AP DPM, it's actually very devastating. You have no idea how many rounds of respawn I've actually won with my Seattle using only AP, so it's pretty deadly. And for the Japanese, yeah, for the heavy cruisers, the effect is questionable. Light cruisers, indeed, Yodo line, very good. But yeah, for the smaller ones like the Harugumo, honestly, you're better off with APCS, because on smaller guns, that thing, IFHE+, it doesn't really have any effect. I tested it when I did the Captain's Skills Guide, and it was like 1% increase in damage, something like that. It's really anecdotal and probably within the margin of error. So what I'm going to do now is I will actually show the result screen so you can see what I measured, and you can actually compare the results next to one another. And one interesting thing we're actually going to see, because I've heard people say that, yeah, if you pen more shells, you will actually cause more fire, so yeah. I'm sorry, but there is absolutely no data supporting that. In fact, the IFHE plus ships that recorded more penetrations and dealt more damage on average, yeah, they had a lower fire chance in total. So yeah. It is what it is, right? In-game data, always nice. And yeah, if you look at it, you see that I record on average around 200 hits to get a better appreciation of the damage. From experience, I have data for maybe 60, 70,000 hits. After 100 hits, you get a good idea. 150, it starts getting clear. 200, you're safe. So there you go. I hope you found it useful and interesting enough. Stay safe, take care. I will be seeing you soon. Bye bye.